third grade, let's go ahead and talk about lesson 405 on multiplying by multiples of 10 or multiples of 100. So as we're getting ready today, we're going to go over some vocabulary. So a multiple of a number is the product of a number and another number. So that means that my multiple of 3 is 120. But that means that a multiple of 40 is also 120. When we talk about multiples of 10, that means what we're really talking about is skip counting by 10 every single time. So that's how we have like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So multiples of 10 are when we are skip counting out by the number 10. The same thing is true of the multiple of 100. So when we are skipping out by the number 100, we're getting 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. So when we're skip counting by multiples of 10, we are just skip counting by tens. When we're skip counting by multiples of 100, we are skip counting by groups of 100. So let's go ahead and take a look at this problem right here. This says 3 groups of the number 40. So that means that I'm skip counting by the number 40. So things that I notice is I'm going to start at 0. When I add 40 to 0, I'm going to get 40. Then when I add on 40 to my 40, I'm going to get 80. When I add 40 more onto the number 80, I'm going to get 120. So I know 3 groups of the number 20 gets me to 120. Another way that I can use multiples is to think about groups. So for example, 2 groups of the number 50. That's like saying, here's a group of 50, here's a group of 50. Again, I have 5 10 rods right here. And then I have 5 more 10 rods right there. Well, I can also regroup them because I know 5 10 rods plus 5 more 10 rods gives me 10 groups of 10. And 10 groups of 10 I can trade in for 1 flat, which is representative of 100 here. So I know that when I'm multiplying by multiples, that I'm really doing some regrouping on groups of 10 and groups of 100. So let's kind of try some right here. This is saying 9 groups of the number 30. So I can use skip counting to help with this one. So I know 1 group of 30 is 30. If I add on 30 more, I'm going to get 60. 60 plus 30 is 90. 90 plus 30 is 120. 120 plus 30 is 150. 150 plus 30 is 180. I know 180 plus 30 is going to give me 210. Plus 30 more is 240. Plus 30 more is 270. So I know 9 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gives me 270. All right, nice work, gang. Here we go. So let's go ahead and try this, thinking about using hundreds with flats and rods for each one. So 5 groups of the number 30. Okay. So I'm going to use my I'd really like to use my camera on this one, but I don't know if I can. So why don't we do this? So I'm going to do my groups of 10. So here's 1, 2, 3. So 1 group of 30, but this is saying I have 5 groups of 30. Okay, then I have 1, 2, 3. There's my second group. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll do this one. 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I have 5 groups of the number 30. So here's one group of 30, 2 groups of 30, 3 groups of 30, 4 groups of 30, 5 groups of 30. I know that it takes 10 rods to equal 1 flat. So I can go ahead and I'm going to start down here with this one. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'll go with this one. So 10. Okay, so I'm going to go super skinny line. So we'll go woo. So here is 10 rods that I'm going to regroup over here for 1 flat. Okay. Now I see that I have 1 flat and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rods. In this case, my flat is equal to 100 and my rods are equal to 10. So I have 50 tens and 100 and 100. So 100 plus 50 gives me 150. All right, well, what about if I have 3 groups of the number 400? Ooh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and let's erase this and let's try this. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to make my numbers a little tinier. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 400. Okay, so that's a group of 400. Then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we'll go ahead and regroup to groups of 10. Again, it takes 10 groups of 100 to equal 1 cube of 1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and I know that I have 12 flats over there. So I'm going to go ahead and make my cube because my cube is equal to 1,000. And I know that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what I'm going to regroup over here to that group of 1,000. So I have 200 left plus 1,000. So 3 groups of 400 is equal to 1,200. Okay. So let's check this. This says solve each equation, place a pink check mark under the correct product in the chart. So if you have 5 groups of the number 20, 7 groups of the number 40. So here's what we're going to do. All right, we're just going to do the first 3. Okay. So I'm going to shade this in. So we're not going to worry about that one. Same thing over here. We're just going to do the first 3. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get ready to kind of try this. So I want you to go ahead and pause the recording, okay? And let's go ahead and kind of try these ones out. So 5 groups of 20, 7 groups of 40, 8 groups of 90. Hopefully, now that you're restarting it, you got 5 groups of 20 is equal to 100. 7 groups of 40 is equal to 280. 8 groups of 90 is equal to 720. Over here, I know I'm going to get 1,200 for 30 groups of the number 40. I know 80 groups of 20 is equal to 1,600, and 600 groups of the number 2 is going to be 1,200. So third graders, let's go ahead and hop into third grade math. We're going to take a look at our assignment today over in Buzz. When we get there and we go into third grade math, a couple of things we're going to see. We're going to go down into Module 4. We're going to go into today's lesson, 405. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of take a look. So this is, hey, read the lesson and complete the activities. Then we want to make sure that we're working on our work, and you have a handout today on multiplying by multiples of 10 and 100. So as we're in there and we're kind of looking at these problems, you're going to have a review with some warm-up, with some interactives to review, some multiplication with 0. You have these cubes, rods, flats, and units. These are some math manipulatives to help you as you're working today. Okay, so I would suggest you print those. Then you have your mat for kind of regrouping and doing some of that work. Okay, so this is a tool to help you on this assignment. You can also go to Toy Theater, and I'll put that website in our lesson so that you have it to be able to access those base 10 blocks there. So you have some practice problems. When you get to the end, you're going to have your handout that you're going to turn in. It's right here. This says solve the multiplication equation using place value. So you're going to draw that place value over here. That's why they gave you the place value chart. Okay. They have write 2 different equations using those numbers. Then we have matching the expression and matching some of those problems. Now, I said that there was a website that I was going to make sure to give you. So I want to talk about where that website is. So if you go over into Homeroom, remember that we have our resources page over in Homeroom. And when we go into resources, you'll see, oh my gosh, there's the resources page, and it says virtual math manipulative. All right, so you want this one down below. All right, and when I click there, it takes you to base 10 blocks. All right, I'm going to also copy it, and I am going to pop it into our lesson as well so that you have it there too. So just know, third grade, that those base 10s are there in the lesson too for you to kind of practice with that multiplication. Okay, so that's going to be right here. Okay, so we'll have read the lesson. So number 1 is going to be watch the V-class recording. The virtual math manipulatives can be found here. And we'll hyperlink it so that you have it. Okay. And I will also put it just a direct link. So that way they're there in 2 spots. So you got this, third grade. Good luck.